Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to do a full review of Convertkit. Now, Convertkit is an email list software, email marketing software, email sender, spam software, whatever you want to call it. And it's specifically built for creators. So bloggers, podcasters, podcast is something I identify with, and YouTuber, which is something new for me. And so I'm going to do a review of ConvertKit. I've only been using it for a few weeks now. Let's do a quick review. It tends to be quite popular. I know a lot of famous creators use it, like Cal Newport and Ali Abdal and James Clear. So it's clearly some people swear by it, but it also tends to be pretty pricey. So if I just quickly go to their pricing, you will see that it's not exactly cheap. So this is just for 300 subscribers. Now this is the level I am at in just a few weeks, and that's already costing $25 a month, which is that's something. Especially because I don't have a business or I'm not earning something back from it. So that's not optimal, I would say. You do get a free plan, to be fair, and it's free up to 1,000 subscribers, but it lacks one key feature for me. Otherwise, I would just use something even cheaper. Which is automated emails. So what I want to happen is when people sign in for my email list, I want them to be sent a set of emails which introduce them to my world and give them a lot for free, essentially, and just induct them in my email list, so to speak, so that they know who I am, they know what my work is about, and they get the best of my work for free and right in their inbox. And I want that to happen. There's also another scorecard I run, and what I want is people to get some automatic emails based on their own scores in that scorecard, and all of that is only achievable at this level, which is why it sucks. And if I end up spending too much money, then hey, I'm gonna downgrade, I suppose. But I'm gonna cross that 1,000 subscribers very soon, so I think it's a bit unusual to start a review with a bit of a downside, but I think this is a well-known downside of ConvertKit. And the software is good, as I'll show you soon. But if you're starting out and if you don't really have a business, so to speak, where you're just printing money, or at least printing 25 quids a month, then this does amount to something. And the more you go, this is where I expect to be very soon. That would be a lot. And this is with yearly payments. If with monthly, it's 50 quid a month. So yeah, the features are kind of good. But again, this is the main one for me, these two, and you don't get that in the free plan. So something to consider. I think other software like MailerLite will probably give you that, and then there's System, which I was also looking at. So worth considering if you don't want to spend that kind of money in the beginning. Having said that, once you go into ConvertKit, this is how the dashboard looks like, and essentially the software is parcellated with these 5 categories: grow, send, automate, earn, and learn. So let's start with grow. So if I click on this, you see a list of essentially my subscribers. And of course, I'm not going to show you that list, but on the right, you have tags in which you can separate these subscribers based on different things. So for example, I have people who are coming from the scorecard apps. I have people who have got my workbook. That's my main lead magnet. So you can see more than half of my subscribers, 3/4 of my subscribers are coming from here. And then I have a newsletter tag, which is not exactly an incoming tag, but this is to whom my newsletter goes out. So I'm gonna jump ahead a bit. Well, I'm gonna come back to that in a bit. But you can see this is the product. This is one of my webinars that I was hosting, which I decided to cancel. But one person decided to sign up before I decided to cancel it. Then you have your creator profile, which is just a website you have where your posts will get added. So these are a couple of posts I made, which is my birthday post. If you haven't seen it, each show I talk about the learnings I've had as a human on that post. And then there's this landing forms / pages here. There you go. And then I have two landing projects. One is the workbook where people get some workbook, and then there's this other photography project I'm doing. So completely different things. So people sign in here, they get a workbook. Right now it's just one visitor because I've had it on a separate host until now, but I'm switching it over here. so there's not many people here. Here you can create landing forms. The creative network is a more new feature. I'm not going to talk about it. It's not yet instated. This is where the majority of your work might be. This is where I send my newsletter from. So essentially, everything you broadcast from here goes to a set of your subscribers, and you get statistics about those here. So I have had this email where it went to 300 plus people. 37% of them opened it, 2% of them, 3% of them clicked it, and that's 25 clicks in total. That's quite something. If you're selling something and if 25 people buy it, that's quite something. But also that this 36% engagement I have heard is only possible with smaller email lists. The more your email list grows, you're not going to get 36% subscribers opens at all. And then there are some drafts and stuff like that. But essentially, you create a new broadcast, you select a template. I already have one, which I like, which is just a basic plain text template. It starts with a subscriber greeting. You add in a subject line. You say, hello, this is an email. I always get excited about speaking to the camera, and then I miss my typing. And this is another subject line. So what I'm doing here is a feature called A/B testing, in which I have two subject lines, and what it will do is send subject line A to half of the people, well, half of the half, and then it will send subject line B to another set of people, and based on the results of that, it will send the winner to the rest. So this is called A/B testing. It's just the winner wins. So it will select a subset, it will send it to two groups, and between two groups, whichever subject line wins, which is the most, gets the most opens, that is the subject line that will be sent to the rest of the people. So kind of cool. Then you can type an email here. This is a simple plain text editor, which I actually genuinely like. For its simplicity, its responsiveness. I don't quite like those fancy newsletter businessy emails. Like, I want my emails to feel as if it's like a one-to-one conversation. I want them to feel me, and I want them to have that private connection. So this is my favorite part to be in Convertkit. I think it's a very good text editor. It's pleasant to work in. It's fast. It's responsive. And you can add like files in here if you want. You can add images. You can add a line. You can add a snippet. You can add some personalization, which is just hello, name of the person. You can add a video. So this is one of my favorite places to be in Convertkit. This is my second favorite place to be in, which is you can design sequence of emails. As you can see, this is a 9-day sequence with 6 emails. And so these are some of I introduced them to some of my stuff. I introduced them to one of my courses. This happens whenever someone signs up. So they get this induction thing. And then you get to see some stats. So these are some recent stats. As you can see, the open rate, the click rate, and so on and so forth. Yeah, this is a new sequence. So you can see there's like not much cents in here, like only 20 cents for this. So people will go through this sequence as time goes. And then something to show you is the visual automations side of things, where I have like a few channels in which people can enter their email information. And then what happens, you can like sort of design their journey in here. So for example, this is the most popular one I have. It's 500 plus people. The others are just test ones, honestly, so don't worry about them too much. But either people can come from this workbook, where you can see it's 565 people have come from here out of the 700 plus something. And then there are 3 people who have come in directly from my website. And what this does is adds them a tag that it's just supposed to be a workbook thing. They technically don't get a workbook here, so it's a bit misrepresentative of the meaning, but I still wanted to perform the same functionality. And then if they have this tag, well, actually it doesn't add a tag. Okay, now it's, I was like, why did I add it here? But what it does is actually checks if they already have the workbook tag on them. And what that means is it checks if they have subscribed to the workbook. And this is more of the previous version of the workbook there. So the new workbook is tag 2.0. What it does is it checks if they have the previous version. If they do, they do not need the new version because it's roughly the same, and it exits the automation for them. So far, no one has had to go through that, but it's a good safety check. And then it sends them through this workbook sequence, which I just showed you, and then it tags them with my newsletter. So when people come into my list, they are sent into this sequence, and only after that do they get access to my newsletter. So the first few emails for them are just induction emails, so that they are up to speed with my work, and they know who I am, what my expertise is, what my style is. So anyway, once they are dropped into my newsletter, it is then only can they receive emails from me, which are my weekly newsletter emails. So this is one example of an automation I have. There's a scorecard automation. So if people fill the scorecard first, it's actually very cool, this automation. I really like it. What it does is it checks whether it has the workbook 2.0 tag. If it does, which you clearly saw, some people already had the workbook, which means that they're already in that sequence, and I don't want to bombard them with a second sequence. That's a guaranteed unsubscribe right there. So they can simply go and exit that sequence if they do have that tag. If they do not have that tag, then they're checked with the old workbook tag. Remember, again, they're exited if they have it. Again, if they do not have it, that's when they come to the scorecard sequence. And the scorecard sequence actually looks pretty similar to the workbook sequence, except the orders are a bit reversed. Also in the scorecard sequence, I know that they have filled the scorecards, so I use some of the information from their custom scorecards and deliver the email based on them. So if I quickly show you, actually, well, there you go. This I can show you. I can see that you scored highest on this measure and lowest on this measure. And would you like to receive a personalized email like that, which actually goes into your score? It shows so much care, which I genuinely want to communicate. I really care about my subscribers. I put my heart and soul into them. I consider that as my primary audience now. And I made a video on newsletters. So check that out if you haven't. You can have some templates in there. I showed you some automations. You have some rules, which is just like if this, then that. So you can add tags like that, for example. And so I don't have any. I'm not going to show anything here. The earn thing is pretty straightforward, which is you can have some products like digital downloads. Convertkit does not support online courses per se, so not that. But you can have like PDFs. You can have email courses delivered right to their inbox. So that's something you can access with ConvertKit. You can create some product and collect payment for that. And then they have a very, very good set of videos that shows you a lot of stuff about how to get started, how to get some newsletters here, how to grow your income, some affiliate marketing and marketing skills in general. So I would say this is pretty good. Their educator is pretty nice. She does a good job of explaining. There's some community support here, and then there's documentation. So that's essentially a ConvertKit review. I hope you enjoyed it. I personally think it's a great software. It works very well. It's very reliable. It looks good. It feels pleasant. And even the money part, I think it's because I treat my email list as sacrosanct. As I said, I treat it as my primary audience. For me, the money part also is sort of okay. It's like this laptop. I have a MacBook in here. And of course, it's super expensive. But also my entire world is on my Mac. And so I find it justifiable to pay a higher price point for that. I think it's worth it to get that even 10% of a better experience, because I sit on this for 10 hours a day. Maybe a bit less than that. So that's my view of ConvertKit. But of course, it is expensive. So it may or may not be good for you if you're just starting out. But other than that, I think it's a great software, and I think you'll like it. So give it a try. They have a free trial. You have a free tier rather, and try out the email software as well. For me, this has worked. For others, something else might work, but I recommend it if you can afford it.